caught in a combustible death sandwich.
Come on! Hurry!
As the sails burned down, they sent hot air spiraling.
You know, when I started writing out this review, I was actually considering writing a full review out, like an actual fleshed out review, but this time around I thought it was more appropriate to do this a little more freeform. Puppeteer is a 2D platformer developed by SCE Japan, and it stars a kid named Kutaro or Kutaro. I'm not sure. The name's pronounced differently in the game sometimes. Kutaro is this boy who gets turned into a puppet and has his head bitten off by this bear named the Moon Bear King, who goes around and takes children and makes them his guard. However, Kutaro steals these magical pair of scissors from the bear and is essentially working his way out, you know, to come back to real life. Now, when you look at the game, the design of the game, it looks like Tim Burton designed it himself. Like, it's dreary, it's dreadful, it's moody, it's dark, and yet a child can still play the game because it doesn't quite cross that line into violent and gory. And the artwork to this game is stunning. Like, you are constantly going through new environments. They're all pretty. Everyone looks great. All the items are really original. And like I mentioned before, there's a scissor mechanic. And the scissor mechanic essentially is a weapon that you can also use to traverse across stages when you cut through cloth, or you cut through like a little dotted line thing that lets you speed up across the cloth. But the problem with that scissor mechanic is that the idea never gets expanded upon, really. You just use it to move or chop things, and when you chop things, nothing really happens. It's not difficult. And there's another mechanic. It's called the head mechanic. And essentially what it is that you attach heads onto you, because remember he got his head bitten off earlier. And these heads grant you magical abilities. They can be things like a guillotine or a frog. But these magical abilities don't actually do anything in the game besides open up like shortcuts or little secret paths to different places. They don't actually give you a real ability. So when you have this scissor mechanic that really doesn't add that much besides a cool way to move, and a head mechanic that is essentially aesthetic and just opens up other environments, you're left with a game that is essentially just a run and jump platformer that just looks really pretty. So the game is presented like you're watching it from the audience. You're looking at a stage, and as the level is moving from, you know, right to left, you actually more or less see it slide, like you're, like, you know, they're moving the environment with it. And that's cool. That's really cool. But the problem with this is that they end up setting up the stage with a bunch of lore in the beginning and a bunch of lore at the end. So it takes like 4 to 5 minutes to introduce you to the theme of the level, and then 4 to 5 minutes at the end of the level to conclude it. So you're talking about 10 minutes of cutscenes where you just don't have any control. And it's so frustrating because I just want to play the level. That's all I want to do. It's so annoying. It is so annoying. It's almost like playing Metal Gear Solid 4 as a platformer. Except Metal Gear Solid 4 actually offered some cool gameplay ideas. And at the end of some of these levels, there are boss battles. And these boss battles can just be so repetitive and so long. There's this one battle where it took me around 10 minutes without messing up just to beat the boss, and it was just repetitive action after repetitive action where I was just dropping bombs into a certain spot and then running away and letting it land on the bomb, and then I took my scissors and cut a certain spot. That over and over and over for 10 minutes really wears down on you and offers nothing new to the player in the moment. One thing I did like about this game, though, is that the voice acting was really, really good. The princess was fantastic. She had me laughing the entire game. The narrator's fun, the witch is well done, the cat's well done. But again, the presentation isn't the problem. The mechanics are the problem. There's nothing there. And that's a big problem with me. I'm a mechanics person. And this game just gives me no reason to care. I think there's a really, really good idea here for a sequel. But right now, it just feels like a bunch of wasted potential. Like, they had these really cool thematic ideas, and then they just kind of just shoehorned them in there just for them to be in there. I can't be engaged with something that's giving me nothing back. So I don't think the game is bad. It's not a terrible game by any means. It's just a letdown. It is a disappointment. I have been looking forward to this game for months, and for it to just be kind of okay isn't what I wanted. I wanted to have this really awesome theme, this Tim Burton-esque production with these really fun game mechanics, and I only got one of those. So overall, the Puppeteer, even priced at $40, I can't recommend it. I really wanted to like it, and it's just mediocre to me. It almost feels like a downloadable title, honestly, with really high production values. So that concludes our review of Puppeteer. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, Press X to watch. Until then, Press X to watch, signing off.